Welcome in, welcome back, welcome to Stream of Unconsciousness, where the subject's made up and the words don't matter. Brief pause while we thank our subscribers. Got a couple of new ones recently. Thank you very much for deciding that my particular level of inanity is something that you can deal with and want to watch. So much appreciated to all my other subscribers and anyone who watches the show. Much appreciated. As always, you know, a like and a comment goes a long way towards letting me know that the engagement is there. Also, feel free to subscribe if you find out that you like what we're doing here. I say we, me and the mouse in my pocket. So without too much further ado, we'll go straight into today's video, which is an actual unboxing. Since I know what's in this box, a lot of times boxes come to my house and I have no idea what's inside them. Because I actually know what's in this particular box. We're going to go ahead and open up this box more or less on camera. I'm going to do it from the bottom for the simple fact that there's a lot of addresses that I neglected to blank out on the front. And not that I'm especially difficult to find on the internet, but you know, safety first. So there we go. We have made the first incision. Oh, this is not what I thought it was at all. It's still something I was going to unbox on camera, so here we are in the box. So we will remove that from the box. We'll put the box to one side, and we will find our ordered Wal-Mart exclusive Rogue One 3-pack. Now, the reason I bought this for two reasons. While I do need a Cassian and or figure, as you can see, I've got a Jyn Erso, and I've actually have one of these. Oops, hit the camera. One of these Jyn Erso figures that I've actually done some nefarious things with, which will be in an upcoming video. This is not my favorite version of Cassian. It's serviceable. It's not my favorite. Really, the reason I ordered this was because I wanted K2SO. And this was one of the most convenient ways to get him. A lot of them are not available or are available for very exorbitant prices. So what we'll do here is figure out how this box opens. It appears to open from the bottom. So look how easily the white meat slices. Sorry, I grew up watching a lot of cartoons back in the 70s and 80s, and you guys now have to deal with that. So we will extract, once we get our fat fingers into the box, we will extract the tray. It's actually, let me say that's actually a decent Star Wars-y kind of background. So here it is in all its glory. And I don't mind having a less posable K2SO for the simple fact that I have an IG-11 who is extremely posable. He is outrageously posable, and he is difficult to stand up. So what do we got here? We've got a couple of different points of articulation. Great points of articulation on the neck. So we got 2 points of articulation on the neck, one in the body itself and one up into the head. So the head is really posable for what I had assumed was a 5 points of articulation figure. Just the swivel in the shoulders and the swivel in the hips, no bend in the knees. Again, I was not expecting it to be uber posable and did not need that, but I really, really wanted a K2SO. What would you phrase that as? Is that technically, since the neck can bend twice and swivel twice, that's 4, so technically 9 points of articulation? I don't know how we count that anymore. Anyway, not a bad K2SO figure. We'll see how well he stands up. Well, let's get the tray out the way. Let's get the tray out the way. And we're going to have to adjust his hips slightly, because he wants to go nose first. Now, interestingly, as we adjust his hips, the other way, Jyn, he becomes slightly pigeon-toed, which again, not necessarily an issue. Perhaps if I centered him in the camera, people would be happier. So, yeah, that's not bad at all. It's a little bit scuffed. Obviously, when they made this figure, he had not yet been run over on Gorman, so they've got enough good wear and battle damage there, I think, to imply that, even though that happened after the Rogue One movie. So we're going to put K2 back here, coming to pretend to help the Stormtroopers. Now, this is an interesting Jyn figure. I'm going to do this off camera, because if I don't, I'm just going to knock it all over the place. And you guys don't want the camera to be knocked all over the place. So, pulled out of the tray, there is the 5POA Jyn. The helmet is not removable. The cloak is, but as I said, I've got another one of these that I have mangled, again, for my own nefarious purposes. And the interesting thing about this, for the cloak to work, the coat to work, and the oxygen mask to fit around her neck, and all of that to look quasi-normal, her shoulders actually hit about here, and her neck is about 8 miles long, which is kind of ridiculous. I've got some bits I could show you, but it's not pertinent for this information. The holster is workable. So once I pull the gun that she came with in this particular pack out, I can show you that. But it's a decent figure for 5POA. Again, it's not the most detailed. I prefer the slightly more posable version I had back there from I believe that was a 3.75-inch Black Series. But it's not a bad figure. I keep putting them off to the side like they're not the stars of the show. All right, and finally, the pièce de résistance, or at least a member of the resistance. You see what I did there? A Cassian Andor, who for some weird reason is covered in either rotting plastic or spider web. That's very interesting. That was very interesting indeed. Yeah, I don't know what the hell that is. All right. This is, for me, the outfit is reminiscent. I realize this is what he wore in Rogue One, but the outfit, especially the way it's sculpted, is very reminiscent of Solo's coat in Empire Strikes Back. I'm sure that was probably a very conscious design choice, especially the gloves. The gloves are very Republic cold weather gear gloves. The skirt is separate. He's still 5POA. The skirt is separate. I say 5. The neck is on a ball. Somebody's going to have to weigh in on the comments and tell me how many points a ball-jointed neck counts for. If that's still just 1, or if because it moves in multiple dimensions, that's more than 1. So, not too bad there. So it's not the version I wanted and not the version I was expecting to arrive today, but it's not too bad. They've got some pretty standard. Focus. You know what? I'll cut him out. Cut it out. They've got some pretty standard. This is Cassian's pretty standard 3 3/4 inch cheap posable figure blasters. I noticed that his holster, as I was waving him around, probably where you couldn't see, actually has a hole. There's a hole in the bottom, which I'm sure helps with molding, but also makes it easier to insert his pistola into his holster. It actually looks pretty nice. So, yeah, this is not a bad figure. Not a bad figure. Is it the greatest Diego Luna portrait ever? it is not. But I think I paid $20 for this whole thing. Maybe 30. So it's either, you know, it's anywhere from $5 to $10 a figure. That's not too bad, especially in this day and age. Again, hat is not removable, and hopefully no spiders are going to crawl out of here. I have no idea what the hell is going on with that. That is so bizarre. Let's see if we can focus on that spider web there. A little bit left. That's what it looks like to me. That's something else. If someone else knows that that's not a spider web and it's something to do with the plastic degrading, feel free to let me know in the comments. Anyway, there they are. So the Walmart exclusive Rogue One set. Decent figures. The K2SO is clearly the star of this set. I just think the double jointed neck was surprising, a pleasant surprise. So I think that adds a little bit for what would normally have been a 5-point of articulation figure. I think that adds a little bit of posability that otherwise wouldn't be there, and it makes him the clear star of this collection. All right, I think that'll do it for now. If you have any comments, questions, amusing anecdotes, feel free to leave them in the comments. Feel free to like. Feel free to subscribe if you enjoy what's going on here. I would like to point out that I do also have a TeePublic shop where I have humorous and artistic designs if you're interested in that sort of thing, on shirts, mugs, hats, bags, cell phone cases. Feel free to take a look. The link is in my bio for this channel, and we will see you next time.